Hoi hoi! It's louisity again, and it is mid-year, so it is that time again for those mid-year bookish videos. So I decided to do the mid-year check-in tag for my, mid-year video. Hoorah! So this is a way for me as well to kind of reflect on how my reading went, and for you folks to know how's my reading in 2026. Now, I chose this one specifically the one that I did in 2023, which is based from Jesse the Reader's video and his mid-year in 2023, because I kind of want to do it again. I've been doing the mid-year freak out book tag for the last couple of years, and I kind of want to try this one again because I haven't done it in a while, and I kind of want to know what's the difference again. It gave me some sort of a way to reflect on how my reading has been going, and I'm open to doing either mid-year freak out tag or mid-year check-in tag, whichever my mood suits. I kind of like it when I search for my mid-year videos in my dashboard, in my YouTube studio, kind of have a little bit of variety there. So who knows next year if I'll do the mid-year check-in or the mid-year freak out book tag. And it allowed me to reflect on how my reading has been in 2026. And I only answer the ones that I think are applicable to my reading or applicable to me. So yeah, without further ado, let us begin answering the questions. Oh, before we answer the questions, I'll be putting the link down below of Jesse the Reader's mid-year check-in tag in 2023, because that was my basis for this video. So to know how it went, without further ado, let's begin. It would have to be Three Keys by Kelly Yang. Now, I have a reading vlog of this book, which consists of my thoughts. And I'd have to say that, like I always say about Kelly Yang's books, she tackles deep topics or incorporates, hard-hitting topics or serious topics in her stories, yet they're being interweaved in the story in a way that is going to be suitable and not too hard on its target readers. For example, for Three Keys, it's a middle grade contemporary book, so it's targeted to people that are in the 6th or maybe even 5th until 8th grade. Although I always say, even if you're beyond those grades or those years, you can still read it, because middle grade books or preteen books help you kind of find other perspectives that are perhaps purer or more pure. I mean, but yeah, that's what I always say, and that's what I notice, whenever I read Kelly Yang's books. So, yeah, I couldn't say anything really bad. When I was reading this one, I was really in for the ride. I, just held on to it. I was holding on to the story, holding on to what was going to be happening next, and just really, looking forward to what is going to happen, in the succeeding books. Because there was this part here, okay, this might be a little bit spoilery, but Mia's mom is already going to be pursuing her engineering degree. So I wonder if that has something to do with the next book, because the title is Room to Dream. Did I get that correctly? Yep, I did get that correctly. So yeah, overall, this is a 5 out of 5 star read. I gave this perfect 5 out of 5. It would have to be Dawn Hounds by Sacha Stronach. Now, the world looks nice. This is kind of a sci-fi dystopian novel. And yeah, the world seems magnificent, the way it was described during the beginning. But the story, I just couldn't connect with the narrative. It was it made me think, is there anything happening? What is going on here? I couldn't remember anything other than mushrooms and how weird the world was. Now I'm gonna have to remix this one because I don't necessarily recall if somebody like directly outright recommended me this book, but I've been seeing it a lot in booktube and every now and then in bookstagram, and I happened to borrow this book from one of my like colleagues slash friends, Ashera, who by the way is the author of Unlovable, Broken but Bold. Yeah, so Ashera lent me Yellowface by R.F. Kuang, and I'd have to say that it was a lot enjoyable and lovely, more than I expected. I mean, I see a lot of 4-star reviews for this one, and maybe even some that are lower from people that I kind of know. And I was so shocked that I was in for the ride. Like, I was seated. Like, I really enjoyed it. Basically, if you've known me, if you've been watching my reading vlogs, if you've been watching my videos in my channel, you would know that to me, if you make my brain like think and imagine and like how I kind of like connect myself towards a narrative in some way that, hey, this is what's happening. I kind of think of other things along with it, it's like chances are you're going to get like a high score or a high star rating from me, if that's going to be the case. Because when I was reading this one, like, I have a reading a vlog of it, by the way, which is, I believe is uploaded already in my channel. Yes, it is uploaded. I had to think for a minute, y'all. But yeah, it has all of my thoughts as usual, like my overall reading experience, reading journey throughout the book. But I have to say that there are things like, something that, what I can reveal in this mid-year check-in tag video is that, like with Yellowface, like specifically with Juniper, I didn't expect that there were like things that I was like nodding. But then again, like a part of me is like, was she in a credible position? Was she like, in terms of the things that she did, kind of like, somebody that you would kind of like, hold on or stand by, stand beside. And it could just be a case of like, listen, take away and run with it. But yeah, overall the book is, would make you contemplate hopefully about things that are being tackled, about like originality, appropriation, what else? Basically even jealousy, dreams, aspirations, basically those things. It's not just about like, like a white woman, like impersonating as like the work or the book was like co-written with her, but it kind of like gave the story where like there were so many backstories or so many things. I'm not sure if backstory is the right word, but basically the circumstances that like led to that, or that kind of basically that made like the overarching things that happen in the story. It's like the way that they were like weaved and synthesized, it was genius. Like it just made me think, and I was like, you got a point. But I'm like, well, yeah, you gotta read it if you want to know how I'm feeling. For this one, I'm not sure if I'll be reading it in the next half of the year, or like before 2026 ends, or towards like the latter part or the latter half of the year. Wow, I said a lot because it's just kind of like how my brain works, y'all. But I love amplifying, books written by Filipino authors that I would consider reading. Okay? So first it'd have to be The Elsewhere Express by Samantha Soto, and I have a bookish vlog where I met her again and she signed this book. Like, we had a book talk and signing for The Elsewhere Express by Samantha Soto. Yanbao! Forgot Yanbao. I'm sorry, Samantha. And there's another book written by a Filipino author who is based here in the Philippines but is published internationally. Same as Samantha Soto Yanbao. Congrats to us, more power Filipinos! And I'm talking about May Koyuto. May, please tell me if I pronounce your name correctly or not, and correct me if I did not. And the book that was released earlier this year that I, consider or would want to read would be Goodbye and Everything After. It would have to be one of the books in my recent book haul, which is Alon and Leela's Last Summer Before Doomsday. Now, this is written by Ingrid Valenzuela, and as you know why I think that this is like the most beautiful book you've added to my collection. Actually, there were like a handful of choices that I had that were beautiful. It was hard to choose, but I decided to resort or to choose this one and just like have one book for this question, because I think like out of all the beautiful books that I bought this year, this has to be the one that's closest to like my preferences. I mean, the warm colors, the beige, so it's brown passing to me, like the warm, it's kind of like tan, and brown passing, so basically it's brown passing. So to me that is beautiful because brown is my what? Favorite color. Fantasy. Yes, I'd say. I've been getting into sci-fi and sci-fi thrillers even before 2026, and my interest in sci-fi and all the other subgenres within sci-fi got stronger in 2026. Ebooks. Thanks to my Everon, I've been reading a lot of ebooks now. I'd have to say that if you are living in the Philippines, and want to get into more reading, I definitely recommend it used to be Scribd, but now it is called Everon. I mean, Scribd still exists, but it focuses more on documents. They have a separate brand or website or platform for their ebooks and audiobooks, which is Everon, and it only costs $129 plus I think that's digital tax that they added. I may be right, I may be wrong, but it's about that. But it's not too much. Overall, it's 131 pesos per month, around that. And yeah, if you're not a reader who reads a lot of books per month, that's pretty reasonable, because you can at least have a book, an ebook for a month, at least a month. And sometimes, depending, I think, on some circumstances that I still yet to know, sometimes you can read 2 books per month. So if you're not really a super voluminous or voracious reader, if voracious means that way, getting an Everon account is definitely a reasonable one. Yeah. So I'm very thankful for that one. Like I said, I've been getting into fantasy. I've been reading a lot of fantasy books in 2026. So I chose for this question Cameron Battle and the Escape Trials by Jamar J. Perry, which is the second book or the sequel or finale in the Cameron Battle duology. I'd have to say that this was a better one, which is good because the first book was fine, and this one was the stakes were really high. And I love the blend of the magic, the world, and at the same time the challenges, the story, the plotline, and the stakes. Perfect combination for a middle grade / preteen book, and it is even if you're an adult, you're gonna enjoy it. You won't find it too juvenile, at least in my reading experience. So Yeah, but this one is one that I'd like to choose for this question. Cameron Bell and the Escape Trials by George A. Perry. Feel free to comment down below if you have answers to any of these questions, or feel free to comment down below if you actually did this in your YouTube or BookTube channel. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've made it this far, leave a bacon emoji. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so we're down there to keep yourselves posted about my videos. I'll also put down links and handles on my social media accounts, so feel free to check me out and follow me there and support me there as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. Always be thankful and unleash the reader in you. Bye, y'all.